We are in dangerous territory, folks. It is the NHL Draft Day, and I honestly have more of an excitement for what we are going to see with trades than what we are going to see with the actual draft picks that are made. I'm sorry, man. It's been years since I have been so into an NHL draft. Even beyond just the top guys, you know? Like, I feel the prime of my NHL draft knowledge came in maybe 2019, 2020, 2021. Coincidentally, of course, not just the years that we made the most Why I Want videos, but also the years in which my favorite teams all happened to be drafting in pretty spread out spots throughout the draft. Montreal and Detroit would be near the top, Vancouver would be in the middle, and there was reason to go out there and make videos and conversations about all the guys available in the draft because everybody needed guys. Now, every one of my teams and all the teams from 10 to 20 seem to be wanting to trade away their first round picks, and it's gotten to a point here where I am more excited to see who gets moved and what. For example, the Vancouver Canucks end up acquiring with their 15th overall pick, because I'm going to bet that they're probably not going to use it. I think they're going to trade it away. So that's more so my mindset heading into today's NHL draft. And because the entire season was filled with Vancouver, Montreal, and Detroit not really being too hot in the standings, we didn't really focus too much at all on the top prospects of the NHL draft this year. I'm sorry, Michael Misa, James Higgins, Matthew Schaefer, Porter Martone, Roger McQueen, Lightning McQueen, and others to have not been made videos about. I apologize for that, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles this year. Plus, I didn't really have much time to do the entire scouting thing like we had done in the past. I'm getting older, folks. This is not as accessible as it used to be for me. But anyways, skipping past all of the filler content at the beginning, sorry, 2-minute intro, but hey, it's the draft, guys. We have to go out there and at least acknowledge it. I wanted to talk about yet another one of these Montreal Canadiens trade updates. And this is dangerous territory because by the time this video is public on YouTube, there is a non-zero chance that the player that we are discussing is already traded. He could be in some other organization. He could be on the move. He could be traded to a team that's not Montreal, for example. But he is a very significant name, which is why we are talking about him today in this video. Folks, I wanted to turn your attention to a tweet made by Marco D'Amico yesterday morning. I heard the Montreal Canadiens continue to kick tires with their first rounders. Both could be traded, and some prospects for a bigger trade. Some names that I'm working to double confirm, but we know they liked guys like Noah Dobson or Jordan Kyrou in the past, and their names have come up. Clearly, the Canadiens have shifted from trying to find a 2C to bolstering their lineup where at all possible. They've kicked tires on Dobson before, and Kyrou has been linked to the Habs brass last summer, but the Blues were unwilling to entertain a trade. I personally do not see the fit with St. Louis, but I can understand the Islanders in the right setting. Canadiens have also spoken to the Flames about Rasmus Andersson, so right D seems to be a position of note for the Habs. Now, this is interesting, because the Noah Dobson stuff that was talked about was then expanded upon even further by, oh boy, who was it that said? Was it D'Amico? I don't remember, but somebody did go out there and say that, yeah, no, Noah Dobson would prefer to get traded to Montreal, and we made the entire video known about that because that's a pretty big deal, apparently that he actually does want to come to the Habs. Oh yeah, no, it was Marco D'Amico, I'm an idiot, what the hell am I talking about? This was all throughout yesterday, after all, but Jordan Kyrou, also as a potential Montreal Canadiens target, is a name that I think if you wanted to force him to play that center position, he can. He's 27 years old, 6'1", 196 right-handed guy who is making $8.125 million a year till the end of 2031. And for good reason, too. Kyrou, this most recent season, scored 70 points in 82 games played. He has been a consistent 70-point guy, with the only exception of that being the first few seasons he had in the NHL, and yesteryear, where he had 67 points in 82 games, which was still close to 70, but still, it's right there. Kyrou does not have a Stanley Cup championship with the St. Louis Blues. He made the team that year, but played the majority of the season in the AHL, so sucks to suck. Or, I guess, sucks to be too young at the time of your team's Stanley Cup appearance and victory. But still, Jordan Kyrou is a very versatile player. He scores 30 goals a year, creeps up near 40 most seasons, and he plays fast. This guy is a speedster. He is a demon on wheels, and he can snipe it on the rush too. This is the kind of guy that if the Montreal Canadiens were to grab and place onto their roster, I think would automatically add an exciting level of engaging hockey to the Bell Center that may or may not complement a guy like Ivan Demidov. And I say may or may not because I kind of wonder how Ivan Demidov would compare and play with a guy who is as fast and as quick thinking as Jordan Kyrou is. Like, Kyrou is a very no-nonsense, straightforward, straight-line player who can just force things to happen. And I don't know if that necessarily fits well with Ivan Demidov, but there is value in adding a 70-point center to Ivan Demidov's line. I can't go out there and deny that. The St. Louis Blues are also in a spot where, in the most recent season's worth of play, they barely squeaked into the Stanley Cup Playoffs. They got in via the tiebreaker. They were tied with Calgary, and they barely lost in the first round to the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, Kyrou scored a goal in that Game 7, but they lost 4-3. It was a super tight game, and I think a lot of folks were really underestimating how good St. Louis was going to perform in that series. I think I definitely was as well. But honestly, I kind of have a difficult time believing the Blues would even want to trade a guy like Kyrou. I mean, he's very competitive, he scores goals, he had insane chemistry with Dylan Holloway, who is already a young budding stud in the National Hockey League too. I mean, unless you're really just trying to rebuild or allocate value to other parts of the lineup for St. Louis, I really don't see a reason to trade a guy like Kyrou. 70-point, 30-goal guys are very rare to come by, and this one is cost-controlled for the next however many years it is till 2031, 6 years. I really am an idiot. I don't really see a reason for the Blues to trade him, but if a Montreal Canadiens team did see him on the market, then okay, I totally understand why they would be interested in grabbing this player for their squad. I just kind of wonder, what kind of assets would St. Louis want? Rumor has it that they might be interested in a guy like Noah Dobson as well, or a Bowen Byram, or something. I don't really see the vision with that type of plan. I mean, if you're talking value to value, I can understand that it wouldn't be too much of a discrepancy, but I just don't understand the reason to do that. But at the end of the day, Marco D'Amico went out there and spoke about it. Canadiens kicking the tires on Kyrou. I think Frank Saravalli also had a comment or two talking about this St. Louis Blues forward. I digress. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Montreal Canadiens potentially targeting Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues, and whether or not you think this is actually a realistic thing to talk about. Is it possible? If by the time this video is public on YouTube and Kyrou is already traded to another team not Montreal, then okay, I will be an absolute fool. For the umpteenth time. It is possible, folks. It is very well possible. But for my sake, I hope that the trades slow down and stop right before I wake up in the morning. And then we'll get into our draft talk and everything, because that's going to be super fun to pay attention to. But thoughts in the comment section below about Jordan Kyrou. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.